Hi there.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Vincent. You Kim. All right, nice to meet you, Kim. All right, so what brings you in today?
I've been feeling like fatigued and stuff, and then I found out that I had celiac disease, so I was just trying to figure out more. And
Okay, well, you come to see the right person. I'm the dietitian that can help you out. So first, we want to kind of gauge your knowledge on what you have. So, do you know what celiac disease is?
kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
All right. So, just to put it in short terms, it is an autoimmune disorder that can occur in someone who is genetically predisposed to the disorder. So, a lot of it comes about by genetics. So, with celiac disease, you may not be able to tolerate gluten. And gluten is a protein that is found in wheat, rye, and barley. Do you follow me?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's happening is when you eat gluten and it is ingested and it goes to the small intestines, what's happening is, if I can draw this out for you, so in the small intestines, there are these finger-like projections called villi. And what happens is your body starts an autoimmune response, and it begins to, when the gluten comes in, it begins to attack. And over time, what happens is your villi start to flatten out. And that's what happens with that process. So, are there any questions so far?
No. So,
Okay.
if it comes from eating wheat and barley and stuff, what sorts of things have I been eating?
What we'll do here is kind of give you a list of things here. I'll print out a printout so you can take with you everything that you need to know in order to adhere to a gluten-free diet, because this is the only treatment that they really know that has been effective, and that's just having a strict gluten-free diet. So these are some things that you can eat. So you see here you have fruits, vegetables, meat and poultry, fish and seafood, dairy, your beans, legumes, and nuts. So things kind of in the carbohydrate range will be rice, potatoes, you can eat those. You do corn, cassava, I don't know if you would eat cassava, but quinoa, which has a plethora of protein. And if you want kind of like a bready taste, you can use buckwheat in your pancakes or
So
when you're
I
making
probably
bread.
have to make it myself, right?
Yeah. So you probably can find some things in the store that are made with buckwheat. Now, when you go out to restaurants, concerning restaurants, you will have to ask for them to prepare something that's gluten-free.
Right.
And most of the time, well, now all of the time, they're supposed to prepare your things separately from everybody else's. So it's supposed to be on a separate station of the kitchen just so gluten won't enter into your meal.
Right.
So when you go to places like Olive Garden, Chili's, whatever you may choose, just if they don't have it on their menu as gluten-free, ask if they have any gluten-free options.
Okay.
Some foods to stay away from: wheat bread, pancakes, things like that. Things that you know that contain gluten, your oatmeal and all of that stuff, the oats and stuff. So what we want to do, so the goal for you is to monitor your diet. I would even say within this goal is to make a food record of what you're eating and stuff like that. But you know that these are the foods that you can adhere to, and you know that about the foods that you cannot eat. So, are there any questions about the diet?
No, not really.
So the goal is clear, that you want to stay away from foods that contain wheat, barley, or rye. And we will follow up in 2 weeks. And remember, keep that food journal for the 2 weeks so I can kind of monitor and see where you're at. Does everything sound good?
Yeah.
Was that helpful today?
Yes.
All right.
And what happens if I accidentally eat something that had gluten in it?
So, some things that may occur, you may have an upset tummy. You may have, a light sense of diarrhea, something like that. Nothing too treacherous if you eat, just consume a little bit of it. Those are some things that could happen. Now, if you were to not adhere to your diet, then we have some long-term health conditions which I have listed out for you. Also in your packet, in your handout, iron deficiency, anemia, and protein miscarriage. Not to scare you, vitamin and mineral deficiencies, some of the things that often happens with celiac disease patients is they will either, before they even come in with it and are diagnosed with it, they'll be lactose intolerant. Or either they'll find out that they're lactose intolerant after the fact. Those are some things that can happen. So I encourage you to stick heartily to your diet. You'll stick to it?
Yeah.
All right, so you have your goal, and we'll follow up in 2 weeks. It was nice to meet you, and nice to have had this time with you. So.
All right.
All right.
All right. Bye.